Hands up, they said. Everyone knows to just, yes, sir, no, sir. No, sir, I don't know why I'm being pulled over. Sir, I know I don't look like you, but can you help me anyway? How are we supposed to feel safe when our protection is determined by how we tiptoe around common procedure? Ladies and gentlemen, that is a poem by one of our own, Janae Keita, a poem that embodies the very real situation going on between the African American community and police today. For those of you who think that this is a situation that has just sprung out of thin air, that is not the case. Due to the rise in social media and technology that is so prevalent in our society through Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, taking videos on our cell phones, we have too much, by the way, but taking videos on our cell phones, we're able to see these situations take place, see what goes wrong, see what happens, and amend these situations. Having said that, for those of you who think that there's no solution to these problems between the African American community and police, that is not the case. There is so much that we can do with law enforcement and with ourselves to fix these situations. Well, let's go through some of them. Now, the first way that the police can build better relations with the African American community is by having better training and better reactions in situations of conflict. This is so key because so many of the situations we see are caused due to problems with the conflicts of these situations. By show of hands, who's heard of the story of Dontre Hamilton? Show of hands real quick. Okay, so a couple people in here. Dontre Hamilton was a 31-year-old man from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who was shot after sleeping on a park bench. Now, some background information on the story real quick, because that sounds kind of crazy. Now, on April 30th, 2014, Dontre Hamilton was sleeping on a park bench across from a Starbucks. Not, minding his own business, doing his thing, taking a nap. I take naps all the time. I'm a college student. I know how it feels. But he was sleeping across the bench, and the Starbucks called the police on him for whatever reason they had. Now, 2 officers came to the scene. They patted him down, did what they had to do, and that was it. Now, another officer came to the scene by the name of Christopher Manny. Now, Christopher Manny was unlike the first 2 officers. Manny came, patted him down, frisked him immediately. Now, Hamilton had a history of mental illness, schizophrenia, to be exact. So we didn't take this lightly. Now, Hamilton tried to fight off Officer Manny, which led Officer Manny to take his baton, try to subdue Hamilton, which led Hamilton to grab the baton and try and hit Manny, and led Manny to shoot Dontre Hamilton 14 times, killing him. Now, just think about all the facts of this situation so far. We have a man here with a history of mental illness who wasn't doing anything to anybody, taking a nap. We had 2 officers come to the scene on a police call that was irrelevant. And we had an officer who, for blatant disregard of the law, ended this man's life. Hamilton was a son, he was a brother, he was an uncle, he was a cousin, he was a human being. And his life ended because a man who was entrusted to protect his life didn't do so. In the words of Brian Davis, this man did not protect Hamilton, he protected the community from him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a situation that should have never happened. And I say this to law enforcement first and foremost. Frisking gets us nowhere in our society. Not only is it unconstitutional, it adds to the systematic oppression that African Americans face in the United States of America. Am I right or wrong? I'm correct. Number 2, we need to end these situations of conflict without the use of a trigger. We shouldn't have to kill anybody for every single little thing. This man had a history of mental illness. We should be able to break down these situations and find out what's going on and really see what's happening. Police are some of the most highly trained people in the United States today. We have to figure out ways to de-escalate these situations so that they don't happen. Now, number 2, the demilitarization of police. When I was researching for this talk, I was doing my research, I saw some facts that were just so intriguing. In England and Wales, from the past 24 years, from 1991 to 2015, the past 24 years, we've seen 55 deaths at the hands of police officers. In the United States alone, In the first 3 months of 2017, we have seen 219 deaths at the hands of police officers. We need to do better. We need to find better ways to demilitarize our police, because they are not meant to act in the way of the military. Now, who's heard of Michael Brown? Heard of the case of Michael Brown? Raise your hand. So, almost everybody here. I'm good, I'm glad. Doing your history, I like that. Good job, guys. So, following Michael Brown's death, we saw a lot of protests, both peaceful and violent. Now, following these violent protests in Ferguson, Missouri, which is where Brown died, we saw police come in to try and de-escalate these situations a little bit. And police came into Ferguson, Missouri with tear gas shotguns and armored tanks. A Midwestern suburb no larger than the size of Penn State has no business with this type of artillery at all. I've never seen a tank in my neighborhood. I'm from the suburbs, by the way. I've never seen a tank in my neighborhood. I hope you guys don't see one. But we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't have to have that type of artillery in here. We need to demilitarize our police and demilitarize our police and separate it from our military, because they are not one and the same. Now, number 3, we need police that reflect the communities that they are policing. Meaning, a majority African-American community should have African-American police. Or majority Latino community should have Latino police. And I understand, situations where there aren't enough people or ethnicities or, stuff to go around, and I get that. And if that's the case, we need police that can empathize with these people. A lot of these communities have gone through so much. Ferguson, Baltimore. We need police that understand what's going on in these communities. The Black Lives Matter movement is not a terrorist organization. Peaceful protests are peaceful for a reason. They aren't disturbing the peace, they're peaceful for a reason. We need to realize that in our society. Now, a story about this that I just wanted to tell. I just thought about it 5 minutes ago before I came on my talk. When I was in 5th grade, Barack Obama was running for the presidency of the United States, and he successfully became the president. And being a young African-American male, this was a big thing for me, especially. And I'll never forget this day. So we were watching the inauguration in class, and a kid who I went to elementary school with told me told me that his father, who was a law enforcement officer, said Barack Obama only won the election because all the N-words voted for him. I'm in 5th grade, I'm a 10-year-old kid hearing that, and I don't wish that on anybody. We shouldn't have law enforcement officers saying those types of things to their children, saying those types of things in general. They aren't meant to do that. Now, this kid lived, 5 minutes away from me. He could have been policing my own community. And I'm grateful that he doesn't, but he doesn't stray away from the fact that he still could have. We need police that understand these communities and understand what's going on in these different communities. Now, to go to the Black community and police, the first way that the Black community can build better relations with police is knowing our rights and abiding by the law. This is so key, because if you knowingly and willingly do something wrong, you will get arrested, I promise you. I won't bail you out. I'm a broke college student, by the way. I won't bail you out. I know I won't do that. But I'm telling you that it will happen. Now, I was talking about the protests before. Arson, looting, rioting, or violent protests. These are surefire ways to get you arrested, to get you in trouble, to get you in jail. Don't do it. Stay away from it. I say this to every African American in the building right now. Never give a police officer a reason to arrest you or get you in trouble. Ever. Under the 4th Amendment to the Constitution, we're protected against unreasonable searches and seizures. And for people that look like me, that have melanin in their skin, that was confirmed in 1964. So if you know you haven't done anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Because if a cop searches your car, searches your house, they're going to be searching for a job after that, because that's unconstitutional. We have to understand that when we are in a good place and when we do stuff right, when we're good activists in our community, there's nothing for us to be afraid of. Now, the number 2 way the Black community can build better relations with police is by realizing that there are good cops out there. Now, I know I started off kind of harsh. Sorry to any cops in the building. I love you guys, but you know, this was hard for me to understand at first. Let me tell you a little story. So when I was 16, 16, you're a teenager, you know what I'm saying? You think you're cool, you're kind of prideful. That's exactly how I was. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm from Long Island, New York. I went to a little college visit in the city, New York City. And I hadn't gone to the city too much in Manhattan when I was there, but I wanted to act like I did, so I did what I had to do. And one thing that's really bad about me is I'm always on my phone. You can ask, my mom's in the audience, she'll tell you, get off your phone, you're always on your phone. I'm always on my phone. So when I got to where I wanted to go, my phone died, obviously, and I got lost. And the only person I knew that would know where to get me to where I needed to go was a cop. I was scared because it was 2014. 2014 was the height of so many of these situations. But I had to do what I had to do. So I went up to the cop, told him what was going on. And this cop showed me so much support and love that I'll never forget it. I was wondering why I was so scared because he told me where I wanted to go, said good luck in school, good luck with your college, all of that. Now, not everybody might not have this kind of situation that I did. But it's important to realize that a lot of these cops are out here trying to protect us. I have family friends and friends in the military and in law enforcement that know how they're being portrayed in the media. They want to do better, and they want us, especially the African American community, to have better relations with them, to trust them. It might be hard because of how the media portrays them, but it's important to know a good majority of these police want to help us, want to protect and serve their communities. And it's important for us to know that. Now, the number 3 way, and the last way that the Black community can build better relationships with police is by being leaders in our community, being leaders in our society. How can we be united to other communities when we aren't even united ourselves? Now, one conversation that I always have is about the Black Lives Matter movement, and something that always comes up is Black on Black crime. And it breaks my heart to hear that because there's so much that we're doing to amend that. But when we're doing things we shouldn't be doing and breaking each other down, all of that is negated. Here's an example of this. Myself, Demetrius Green, Marcus McBride, and Isaiah Chapman, last semester started the Men of Excellence program. And what that does is it builds up young Black men to be leaders in our society. It raises us up so that we know that we can run the world. Sorry, girls, but boys, we run the world, boys, as young Black men. Just a couple weeks ago, myself and many student leaders had a water drive for Flint, Michigan. We raised over 3,000 bottles and almost $300 in donations, which will be going to Flint in just 2 days. By the way, we did that in just 4 days, 4 short days, by the way. So there's so much that we're doing in our community, but listen, if we're not united, no community can see us as united. We need to be united in ourselves. I say this to every young African American listening to this talk, whether here or anywhere. There is no limit to your success. There is nothing that you can't achieve. My advisor, Fred Hodges, once said, our deepest struggles are our greatest teachers. No matter what you've gone through, there's always something to get out of that situation. There's always a way to better yourself. And I say this to anybody who thinks that something like this is impossible. Here's your answer. Thank you.